To prove that a person with intense devotion wasn't scary, the first thing I did after returning to high school was to corner the possessive Sarah at the school gate. "If you're willing, I'll go with you today." Seeing this, all the students in the school said I was crazy. As the campus heartthrob, I didn't choose the stunning school belle Mia, but instead chose Sarah, known for being unhinged and possessive. Feeling the warmth from Sarah's face, I smiled. Sarah wasn't unhinged at all. She was the best person in the world. On my wedding day, Sarah wearing a white wedding dress was particularly eye-catching, but today's protagonist wasn't her. She walked towards me, her eyes red, but when she opened her mouth, it was still that same deadly sarcastic tone. "Honestly, the bride is just average. Why don't you consider me?" "Forget it. You have a heart condition. Marrying you and then having to remarry would be too much trouble." I rolled my eyes at her. "My heart just has a minor issue. I'm not going to die." Others said that Sarah, now grown up, had become a beautiful CEO, aloof and unapproachable. But only with me did she maintain her old sharp-tongued demeanor. People who didn't know would think we had dated and then became enemies after breaking up. Actually, during my student days, I had stumbled upon Sarah's well-kept secret, which is why she, the rich heiress, had always bullied me, and now even at my wedding, she had to come and say a few hurtful words. As she was speaking, she suddenly leaned in close to me, her slender fingertips gently brushing my face. I froze. I subconsciously stepped back. She lowered her eyelids, gazing at me, a flicker of imperceptible disappointment in her eyes. Soon she straightened up and smiled nonchalantly. "You have confetti on your head." Before I could reply, she mocked me disdainfully. "Look at you. You think I'd actually kiss you? I wouldn't even look twice at you." And I thought about it. Indeed, she was a rich heiress now, a beautiful CEO. How could she possibly like me? After saying that, she turned and left. I didn't even see her at the wedding banquet. I never expected that her turning back would be the last time I saw her. It wasn't until 3 years later that I suddenly had a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. The doctor said it was a minor surgery, nothing to worry about. Unexpectedly, an accident occurred during the surgery, requiring a heart transplant, but my condition was critical and there was no time to find a matching heart. Lying in the ICU, though unconscious, I could still hear voices. I heard my mother crying softly, saying my wife Mia had run off, leaving a letter. The letter said I was a good person, and before leaving she had taken the card with my years of savings. My consciousness flickered. I had given that card to Mia to pay the hospital bills. Clearly, Mia had chosen to abandon me, taking the card and running, perhaps knowing I was about to die. Her departure didn't sadden me much. I didn't know how many days I lay in the ICU, mostly unconscious in a daze. I was already on the operating table when I woke up. The doctor said the surgery was very successful. I asked my mother whose heart it was. I wanted to pay respects and thank that person, but my mother was evasive. She just handed me a bank card. "There are 5 million here. Live well from now on." I was puzzled. "Mom, how do you have so much money?" My mom explained it was her and Dad's retirement savings. I didn't believe it at all. They were both teachers. How could they have saved so much? However, I didn't press further. They were intellectuals and wouldn't do anything illegal. After being discharged, my good friend came to see me. He said Sarah was dead. For some reason, my heart ached terribly. Words almost choked out from deep in my throat. How could she die? He shook his head, saying he didn't know, only telling me the location of Sarah's grave. Sarah's death was too sudden for me. I thought that selfish, unhinged girl would live to be 100. I knew where Sarah lived, and as if guided by a ghost, I went to her apartment. The door had a password lock. 3 incorrect attempts would automatically lock it. I tried her birthday, her lucky number, all wrong. For the last attempt, I entered the password of the bank card my mom had given me. 77025 read backward 52,077, which sounds like "I love you, Liam" in Chinese internet slang. As the door opened, my heart trembled violently. That heart seemed to be telling me to leave quickly, not to go in, but my legs wouldn't obey, and I opened the dusty bedroom door. On the wall by Sarah's bed was a large photo frame filled with pictures of me. Some photos were mottled and faded, taken during our school days. Some were taken during the years we hadn't seen each other. There was also one of me in a suit on my wedding day. I picked up a photo and found writing on the back. Looking through them, I discovered writing on the back of every photo. "Liam, Besides being good at studying, you're terrible at everything else, especially judging people. Your taste is awful. How could you fall for that two-faced Mia? Liam, you dare call me crazy. Just you wait. Tomorrow I'll stop liking you. It's been a year, Liam. I still like you. But Liam, how could you stumble upon the secret I didn't want anyone to know? It makes me afraid to say I like you. Another 3 years, every time it snows, I'm downstairs from your place, seeing you with her. When it snows, my heart doesn't feel so cold anymore. Liam, I've left all my savings for you. From now on, you can only smile, not cry. If you dare cry, I'll haunt you even as a ghost. Honestly, I'm quite happy I can finally be with you. From now on our hearts will beat as one until death do us part. I was afraid my falling tears would soak the photos, so I sniffled and desperately wiped them away. Her words were like knives stabbing my heart until it was a bloody mess. I fell to my knees, clutching my wrenching chest. Sarah, you're retaliating against me, aren't you? You resent me for knowing your secret, so you're punishing me, right? You're truly ruthless. Now that your heart is in my body, I don't even dare to die. I had never felt such despair, crushed by immense regret and grief that I couldn't breathe. Tears instantly blurred my vision. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in my high school days. The sun slanted down and Sarah leaned against the school gate, sucking on a lollipop. I glanced at the date. It was the day I stumbled upon her secret. Sarah. I ran towards her quickly, embracing her. Sarah's body stiffened, unsure how to react. She nervously clenched her hands, not daring to move. After a long while, Sarah looked up and asked, "Did you hug the wrong person?" "No." I sniffled, my nose red. Looking at her in my arms, I raised my hand and carefully placed it over her heart. "Sarah, I missed you." I felt Sarah's heart skip a beat under my palm. Then it started beating faster and faster. I looked down at her, tears welling up in my eyes without me realizing, and Sarah in my arms, her cheeks flushed crimson, the blush rapidly spreading to her ears. "Liam, do you know what you're saying?" "I know." I repeated earnestly, "I missed you." Sarah froze, reaching out to wipe the tears from the corner of my eyes, then stared intently at me. "Why are you saying these things? Don't you hate me? Hate me for acting like a psycho and provoking you all the time?" Her voice choked with sobs, and she lowered her head dejectedly. In our student days, Sarah and I were from two different worlds. She was a rich heiress and also an intense school bully, and I was in others' eyes a cold top student who only knew how to study. I didn't hate her. It was just that a mountain bird and a fish travel different paths. Faced with her provocations, I didn't know how to handle them, so I subconsciously avoided her. I was about to explain when I saw someone push her hard from behind and start cursing at her. "Sarah, have you no shame? You're trying to steal the person I like too." Passing students stopped, their gazes turning towards us, ready for a show. The newcomer was Mia. If others were afraid of Sarah, Mia wasn't. She relied on the fact that I liked her and knew Sarah wouldn't dare touch her. Mia took my hand. "Liam, shall we go eat later?" I shook off Mia's hand and nervously steadied Sarah, who had almost fallen. I looked at Mia with disgust. "Are you sick?" Mia's mouth fell open, looking incredulously at my hand supporting Sarah. "Liam, is this psycho threatening you? Don't be afraid. Does she think being a school bully means she can do whatever she wants in school? I'll go tell the teacher. She'll get what's coming to her." A wave of anger surged within me. Would someone who threatened me secretly protect me in the dark? Would someone who threatened me give me their heart when I was dying? In contrast, Mia took my medical money and ran. Thinking of this, I angrily pointed at Mia, my finger trembling with rage. "If you're blind, go see a doctor. Don't loiter in front of us." "Who said Sarah threatened me?" Mia froze for a moment, her face turning pale as she looked at Sarah. "Liam, are you sure you want to defend the psycho today?" I retorted irritably. "Didn't you brush your teeth today? Why does your mouth stink so much, calling people psycho left and right? Do you have any manners?" Mia was exasperated. "What kind of spell did she cast on you? Don't tell me you like her." "Yes, I just like her." I took Sarah's hand, but she didn't cast any spell on me. I willingly like her. As soon as I finished speaking, the onlooking students started discussing in surprise. Is Liam crazy? Giving up the outstanding school belle Mia for a psycho loner? But a student interrupted, "Grades aren't the only measure of a person. Although Sarah is a bit intense at times, her looks are definitely better than Mia's." During gym class, A classmate almost got hit in the head by a ball. Mia was standing right there. She didn't help, just glanced and walked away. It was Sarah who rushed over and blocked the ball, saving Mark. I think Liam and Sarah are a better match. Hearing the students' discussion, Mia was furious. Liam, we're supposed to be a couple. What's wrong with you? I cut her off. Who's a couple with you? Did you imagine it? In high school, I never dated Mia. Classmates just shipped us as a top student couple, and over time everyone spread rumors that we were dating. Even up to our wedding, people said we were a happy example of a campus first love leading to marriage. Thinking back now, it's disgusting enough. Mia gritted her teeth in anger. You'll regret being with a psycho like her. I smiled. Don't worry, I definitely won't regret it. And you're the psycho, an immoral, characterless psycho. My words hit Mia's weak spot, and she rushed over in anger and shame, grabbing my arm. Seeing Mia grab me, Sarah's face suddenly turned sinister. She darted forward, grabbed Mia's wrist, and twisted it sharply backward. With a click, the sound of a dislocated bone was heard. Mia released my hand, screaming in pain. It hurts, let go. Sarah's face was grim, her eyes pathological, and she twisted Mia's wrist backward again with force. If you dare touch him again, believe it or not, I'll break your hand. You know I'm a psycho capable of anything. Mia was sweating profusely from fear, nodding desperately. I won't dare. As soon as Sarah let go, Mia with tears in her eyes scrambled away. Sarah turned around, looking at me with a strange, inscrutable expression. Then without a word she strode off. I glanced at the time. There were still 3 hours until I was supposed to stumble upon Sarah's secret. I had to prevent it from happening. I quickly followed her. Sarah, I have something to tell you. Sarah ignored me. When they reached a deserted spot, she suddenly turned back. You're not Liam. Who are you? My steps halted. After a moment of surprise, I asked back, why do you say I'm not Liam? Sarah's eyes darkened, and she stared at me with an unreadable expression. I know Liam's personality. I remember all his habits, so I knew at a glance you're not him. I was slightly stunned. Sarah knew me that well. I am Liam. I stepped closer to her. I had a dream. In the dream, the god of marriage told me you're my future wife and told me to be more cheerful and lively, not just a rigid bookworm where we'd have a hard time getting along. I think the god of marriage was absolutely right, so here I am, starting to change. Sarah's lips curled into a smile. Do you think I'm a fool? I took another step forward, closing the distance between us instantly. How could there be such a beautiful fool like you? I wanted to tease her, and also to know if the student Sarah asked if she liked me. Would she say it directly, or choose to keep hiding it? You know me so well, do you like me? Sarah glanced at me, paused for a few seconds, then said yes. After speaking, she took a lollipop from her school uniform pocket, put it in her mouth, and continued walking forward without looking back. I jogged to catch up with her. Then why didn't you confess to me? I've said it many times. I asked, when did you say it? Sarah stopped abruptly, and I, caught off guard, bumped into her back. Her back was to me, her silhouette trembling slightly. In every teasing remark I made to provoke you, I was afraid of being too serious and scaring you, and also afraid of not being serious enough for your dense self to understand, and afraid you'd understand and avoid me. I won't avoid you anymore. I hugged her from behind. Sarah turned and pushed me away. You're not Liam. Stay away from me. I said urgently, I am Liam, really. Sarah huffed, arms crossed. You said you had a dream. The god of marriage said I'm your future wife? I nodded emphatically. Sarah hummed softly. Since I'm your future wife, then come here and kiss me. What, unwilling? That means you're lying to me. I walked up to her, and, just as she was smiling, I kissed her on the cheek. Sarah's eyes flickered. Then her tone became somewhat sinister. Just one kiss? I was stunned for a moment, and she suddenly pressed the back of my head, and then a warm kiss landed on my lips, light as a feather, but after I closed my eyes it slowly deepened. The gardenias nearby swayed gently in the wind, and in the dappled light and shadow, the girl gently held my face. Liam, you're 27, still so innocent. Sarah's voice was as light as a whisper. My head was spinning from the kiss, and I didn't quite hear what she said. I asked her, do you believe I'm Liam now? She chuckled, pinched my cheek, and turned to leave, casually tossing out, not sure, needs further investigation. I felt like I'd been played. I glanced at the time and hurriedly chased after Sarah, grabbing her arm. Can I take you out to play? No. I'll treat you to dinner? No. I'll take you gaming all night, my treat. Sarah turned her face, looking me over meaningfully. You've been following me and stopping me all day. What are you trying to do? Did. I suddenly stammered. I have things to do. Stop following me. Sarah glared at me fiercely. If you follow me again, I'll kiss you to death, believe it or not. I covered my mouth, rooted to the spot. After a few steps, Sarah suddenly turned back, her expression becoming exceptionally serious. After a moment of contemplation, her tone softened slightly. Liam, stop following me, and don't go past that restaurant. I smiled and replied, okay. She turned and walked towards that restaurant. I immediately turned and ran desperately in another direction that also led to the restaurant. I wasn't afraid of her knowing I'd stumbled upon her secret and her distancing herself from me out of shame. I was afraid of her getting hurt. Since I couldn't prevent it from happening, this time I would face it with her. The day I stumbled upon her secret, I went to the bookstore to buy study materials and passed by the Grandview restaurant. Passing by that upscale restaurant, I saw Sarah's face being brutally pressed against the wall by her father, already scraped and bleeding. You little bastard, still dare to glare at me? Believe it or not, I'll kill you. I don't even know if you're my kid. Your mother was just a cheap whore, a KTV hostess. If the old lady hadn't insisted on keeping you, do you think you could have entered the Sterling family's door? The ferocious-looking middle-aged man, seeing Sarah didn't reply, picked up a brick from the ground and violently smashed it against her head. Blood dripped from her forehead, staining her blue and white school uniform. If you dare mention that cheap whore's name in front of me again, I'll kill you. The man angrily grabbed Sarah's hair, the sound of slaps echoing. Sarah was beaten black and blue by the man, her forehead bleeding, her mouth bruised, but she didn't make a sound, as if she was used to the man's abuse. No one dared to intervene. I only heard the driver and housekeeper sighing. This child has a hard life. Her mother was a KTV hostess. Her father doesn't acknowledge her, sees her as a disgrace, living cautiously in the Sterling family. Often beaten until she's bleeding. What a sin. I was shocked. I always thought Sarah was a carefree heiress, but I never imagined she was born into such a suffocating family with such a mother. Terrified by the scene of abuse, I quickly called the police, but the driver came over and stopped me. Calling the police is useless. This is a family dispute, and the Sterling family's influence is not something you can afford to offend. I advise you, kid, not to meddle in other people's business. Kid, you understand the principle of sweeping the snow from your own doorstep and not worrying about the frost on others' roofs, right? My emotions were complex as I looked at Sarah, but unexpectedly our eyes met. The moment she saw me, her vibrant face turned deathly pale. Shock, panic, helplessness, various emotions flashed across her eyes. Her eyelashes trembled, and she hurriedly avoided my gaze. Back then I didn't understand Sarah's thoughts. She didn't want the person she liked to see her in such a wretched and helpless state. Anyone could see, but not me. At that time I just wanted to help a classmate, so I mustered the courage to step forward and threaten the man. I've already called the police. If you don't let her go, you'll be waiting for jail. Hearing the words called the police, the man glared at me fiercely. Do you know who I am? Believe it or not, I'll find someone to kill you. I sneered. Even if you're the king of heaven, if you hit someone, you'll still have to be locked up for 24 hours. The man furiously raised his fist towards me, but then the housekeeper rushed over and stopped him. Sir, the company is about to go public. Don't cause trouble. The man reluctantly lowered his fist. Before leaving, he disgustingly spat on my shoe. Kid, you just wait. After the man left, I wanted to take Sarah to the hospital, but she ruthlessly shook off my hand. She wretchedly wiped the blood from her face, slowly turned her head, her voice like ice. Get lost. I wasn't angry. Her temper was always unpredictable. As I was about to leave, a woman dressed provocatively, arm in arm with a middle-aged man with a beer belly, walked towards us. If witnessing Sarah being abused made her angry, then the next scene completely shattered her mental world. The woman walked straight to Sarah. This is your stepfather. Your stepfather lost money gambling. You're a Sterling heiress. Give me money. Sarah's eyes were bloodshot. I don't have money. You don't have money? The woman patted Sarah's face. You're a Sterling heiress and you don't have money? Did I give birth to you for nothing? If I hadn't desperately tried to seduce Mr. Sterling back when I was a bar hostess, would you exist? Could you enter the Sterling family and be a young lady? When the woman mentioned being a bar hostess, Sarah looked at me nervously. Seeing I was still there, she gritted her teeth and roared at the woman. Enough, stop talking. Sarah didn't know that I had already found out her mother was a hostess when she was being beaten by her father. Seeing Sarah wouldn't give her money, the woman threatened, "If you don't give me 100,000 within a week, I'll go tell Mr. Sterling you're not his biological daughter, and you'll be thrown out onto the streets." After speaking, the woman took the man's arm and got into a car without looking back. Sarah hadn't shed a single tear even when her father beat her bloody, but now her eyes were red and filled with tears, staring at the direction the woman left for a long, long time. "If you don't treat me well, why did you give birth to me?" She stood there on the street as dusk fell, her spine momentarily bent. The sky grew darker, and the night finally swallowed her. When she turned, I had already left. I knew she didn't want to see me still standing there, prying at her scars. The next day, Sarah came to school as if nothing had happened. She wasn't dejected, not down, her temper as bad and fierce as ever. What was different was that she was even fiercer towards me. I knew she blamed me for stumbling upon her secret. A suffocating family, an abusive father, a hostile mother, all the unbearable aspects she wanted to hide I had witnessed. Our already distant relationship grew even further apart. But this time, knowing the whole truth, I wouldn't let her face these hardships alone. I ran panting to the Grandview restaurant, and, seeing the scene before me, my eyes widened in astonishment. Sarah was holding a wooden stick, her father's face covered in blood as she forcefully pressed him against the wall. "You dare hit your father, you unfilial child?" Sarah sneered, tapping the man's head with the wooden stick. "Remember this, from now on, every time you hit me, I'll hit you back." After the man staggered away, Sarah's gaze shifted to me. Seeing me, the shock and helplessness were gone from her eyes. Soon after, Sarah's mother arrived with a man. Sarah threw down the wooden stick and slapped the woman. "I have no money. If you want to threaten me, go ahead. I happen to not want to stay in the Sterling family anymore." I was momentarily stunned. How had the events unfolded differently? Was it because I had traveled back to my high school days and changed the original course of events? After dealing with everything, Sarah asked me, "What are you doing here?" She seemed very tired, glanced at me, and then sat directly on the stone steps by the door. After a moment of bewilderment, I walked over and squatted in front of her. I gently hugged her. "I have candy, want some?" "It's very sweet." Sarah's body stiffened for a moment. After a pause, she wearily buried her head in my neck, her voice muffled. "Yes, life is too bitter." I took out a candy and fed it to her. "The bitter days are over. Life will be very sweet from now on." Sarah, sucking on the candy, started crying. At an age of confusion, nothing really goes as planned. I didn't ask her what happened, didn't ask anything, just quietly held her. In this world, everyone experiences their own snowfalls, each with their own hidden depths and brightness. No one can truly empathize completely. She had suffered too much. I absolutely couldn't reopen her wounds. If one day she wanted to confide in me about the pain of her family, I would hold her in my arms just like now, gently hold her and feed her another candy, telling her the bitter days were over. Before long, the sky completely darkened, as heavy and black as that other day. Sarah silently leaned into my neck. After a very long time, she finally stood up. Before leaving, I looked back at that oppressive and dark street. A streetlight nearby suddenly lit up, and the girl's slender figure stood by the lamppost. When she looked at me, her lifeless eyes flickered with a faint light. She curved her eyes and smiled. "Liam, see you tomorrow." I felt a momentary daze. Sarah seemed different, stronger. "Liam, wake up. Time for school. You're going to be late." I rolled over and mumbled, "Don't call me Liam. Stop sleeping. Get up quickly." "I don't want to wake up. Don't call me." My blanket was suddenly yanked off. "Get up quickly. Don't call me." I opened my eyes and roared. "I said I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. Don't you understand?" My mom stood by my bed, suddenly stunned. She asked in astonishment, "Liam, did you take the wrong medicine? Why are you so irritable? What are you so worked up about me waking you for school?" I was dazed for a moment. My chest felt inexplicably tight, unable to breathe right. Why was I so agitated? "Sorry, Mom. I'll get up now." I hurriedly washed up. At school, while going upstairs, I saw Kevin from class 5 blocking Sarah at the staircase. Kevin said, "I'll help you study. Getting into college will definitely be no problem. Sarah stood on the stairs. Her pretty face froze for a moment. Seeing she didn't reply, Kevin nervously clenched his hands. Honestly, I like you. I want you to get on the right track. He flusteredly explained. It's not because you blocked the ball for me yesterday that I started liking you. Do you remember the first day of school? The sun was very bright that day. You were late for the flag-raising ceremony, and you suddenly ran in front of me just as I looked up. You unexpectedly turned around and smiled at me. Looking at your smile then, I was lost in thought for a long time. Sarah, I've liked you since that moment. It wasn't sudden. I've liked you for a long time. Everyone in school knew Kevin liked Sarah back then. His affection was passionate and open. I vaguely remembered during a lunch break back then, I went to the restroom and passed by the corridor where Kevin and his friends were walking. Kevin was staring affectionately at Sarah, who was sleeping with her head on the desk. His friend even complained, "What do you like about Sarah? Besides being pretty, she doesn't seem to have any other good qualities. Her temper is terrible. Why do you like her?" Kevin just smiled nonchalantly. Looking at Sarah, he smiled even more happily. No reason. I asked my heart, and it said it couldn't help it. You're pretty good at using romantic lines, kid. I pushed aside my memories and looked up at Sarah. She stood on the stairs, her face beautiful and delicate. A gentle breeze rustled the fine hairs on her forehead, revealing her fair, jade-like neck. She usually had a cold expression, but when she smiled it was as if spring had arrived, charming and unrestrained, making it impossible to look away. Yes, Sarah had always been dazzling. She deserved to be liked by someone outstanding. I have a boyfriend. Sarah pointed at me. Kevin turned around in surprise. He couldn't believe Sarah had a boyfriend. He had never heard of Sarah liking anyone. Are you really her boyfriend? I nodded. Yes, I pursued her. We just got together yesterday. Her temper isn't good. Maybe you should find someone else to like. And as for tutoring, I can help her with that. Kevin lowered his head in disappointment and said to me, "Okay, I won't bother her anymore." I knew she would reject me. I just didn't want my youth to have regrets. After he left, Sarah said to me faintly, "Thanks." I frowned. "What do you mean? Are you using me as a shield?" Sarah approached me. "What? Don't tell me you actually like me?" Silence hung in the air for a few seconds. I looked at her seriously. There's no question about that. Her figure paused slightly. "Aren't you afraid of my bad temper?" As she spoke, she suddenly brought her face close to mine, smiling seductively. "How about this? You kiss me once and from now on I'll be obedient and listen to you. If you tell me to go east, I'll absolutely not go west." She hadn't finished speaking before I kissed her, shutting her up. She froze on the spot, her face instantly blushing. I shook my head, grabbed her arm, and walked towards the classroom. Go back, study. I was exasperated with her, so unskilled yet so fond of flirting. In the classroom, I swapped seats with a classmate to sit next to Sarah. I opened a textbook intending to tutor her, but then I remembered that in the past, because she had left her original family, she didn't go to college but chose to work and later went into business. I closed the textbook again and comforted Sarah. There are 360 trades, and every trade has its master. Just be yourself. Sarah ignored me and took out a test paper to work on. I rubbed my eyes, then poked Amy in the front row. "Look, she's doing problems." Amy slapped herself. I told myself I shouldn't stay up all night playing games. I'm hallucinating. Amy took off her school uniform jacket and draped it over Sarah's head. "Sarah, go to sleep." Sarah snatched the jacket off and threw it at Amy, glaring at us angrily. "Don't be angry." I stood up and pulled the curtains. "There. That's better. Go to sleep." Amy gave a thumbs up. "Top student. You're always so considerate." Sarah tapped her fingers on the desk. "Can you two be quiet? Don't disturb my studying." Amy and I said in unison, "You're studying?" "You too. Stop being so sarcastic." Heaven knows I really wasn't being sarcastic. I was genuinely surprised. I thought Sarah was just kidding on a whim, but I didn't expect her to actually be studying seriously, and it wasn't just a 3-minute passion. The following days, she worked very hard every day. She moved out of the Sterling house and rented a small apartment. She studied desperately every day and worked part-time jobs like crazy to save for college tuition. Sarah had strong self-esteem and refused to take my money. Wanting to do something for her, I secretly went to tidy her room and cook for her, hoping she could relax a bit after a hard day. Just as I finished, I heard her and Amy's voices, so I subconsciously slipped out the back door and hid. Amy saw the table full of food and excitedly called out to Sarah, "Sarah, you've got a secret helper in your house." The two sat down and picked up their chopsticks to eat. I eagerly peeked through the window. I wondered if the food suited Sarah's taste. Ugh, Amy and Sarah bent over, retching violently. Amy wiped her face indignantly, cursing the neighbors drying chili peppers at their door. Damn it. Who cooked this? It's so freaking awful. Sarah, have you offended someone recently? Sarah thought for a bit. No, don't waste food. It's not easy to earn money now. Sarah picked up a piece of meat and put it in her mouth. Ugh, pa. She rinsed her mouth. Forget it. Let's just eat out. Sarah, you should change this crappy lock on your door. You can pull it open with a little force. I don't know which malicious person came to cook for you. Change the lock. Don't let them in. Don't let them poison you to death, okay? Seeing them leave, I picked up my chopsticks and tasted the food. Was it that bad? They were exaggerating. Yuji, damn it, it really was awful. I gave up cooking and thought of another way. I carried a large bag out. My mom called out to me, "Where are you going?" "I have something to do." I had just stepped out the door when my dad asked my mom, "Honey, have we been robbed recently? Things in the house are disappearing inexplicably and half of the cooked food is always gone. The cold dishes and pickles I made in the fridge are also gone. That's not even the worst of it. It feels like the house is about to be emptied." My mom rolled her eyes at him. "Your son has been carrying a big bag out every day, and you're only noticing now?" I put the food in Sarah's fridge so she could heat it up herself when she got back. I also took out toilet paper, laundry detergent, toothbrushes, shower gel, and other daily necessities. This way, Sarah wouldn't have to spend money on them. In our respective busyness, time flew by. The cicadas chirped incessantly in summer, and before we knew it, we were in our senior year of high school, about to take the college entrance exams. I asked Sarah, "What school do you want to apply to?" Sarah rested her chin on her hand, looking out the window, her voice medical school. "Why do you want to study medicine?" I was surprised. "What about you?" Sarah lowered her hand, her eyes curving as she looked at me. Clearly, she was changing the subject. "I want to get into NYU School of Law." Sarah's pupils widened slightly in surprise. "Why do you want to change your major?" After returning to high school, I had never said what major I wanted to study, so how could it be a change? The current Sarah always seemed to see through everything, making me feel like she had been reborn. If that were true, how wonderful it would be. If she were reborn, she could face the hardships of her family with more detachment and less pain. She could also avoid many bad things in the future. I hope she could live a little easier this life. Seeing me dazed, Sarah snapped her fingers in front of me. "What are you daydreaming about? Why do you want to change your major?" I smiled without saying anything, because I wanted to be a lawyer in the future. If any bastard bullied Sarah again, I would sue them to death. I think lawyers are cool. I took a strawberry-flavored candy from my pocket and offered it to Sarah's lips. "Here, open your mouth." Sarah moved her lips. "Huh?" I smiled and pinched her fair cheek. "So good. Let's work hard together and ace the college entrance exams." The countdown numbers for the college entrance exam on the blackboard decreased day by day. Soon high school graduation arrived, and our youth remained in the scorching summer. The sweat we shed was not in vain. Sarah and I successfully got into our ideal universities. After entering university, Sarah and I were in different cities, talking on the phone for hours every day, starting a long-distance relationship. We occasionally argued. I heard from her roommate that many handsome guys were pursuing her. In a fit of anger, I bought a ticket to her city to find her. On the train, I called Sarah, "Come pick me up at the station later." Sarah said, "Don't tell me you came to find me." I had a bad feeling. "Don't tell me you came to find me too." We both sighed helplessly into the phone. Let's find a midpoint and get off together. After getting off the train, it started to rain. I stood under the eaves of the station waiting for a long time. Just as I was wondering why Sarah hadn't arrived yet, I saw a beautiful face magnified before my eyes. Sarah smiled sweetly, leaning closer to me, so close that our noses touched. The next second, she kissed me. "Stop being angry, okay?" she cooed, resting her arm on my shoulder. I took a bus, and as soon as I got off at the bus station, I ran right over. I was very angry. "Why didn't you take a taxi? Can't you stop trying to save money and making yourself suffer?" I tenderly touched her face wet with sweat. "Are you tired from running?" Not tired at all seeing you." We both smiled foolishly. As it grew dark, We held hands affectionately, looking for a place to stay. At the hotel, we looked at each other. I had booked a room with 2 beds. After sitting for a while, I felt a bit awkward and said, I'm going to take a shower. Afraid Sarah would misunderstand, I explained, I'm really just, wanting to take a shower. I feel all sticky. Sarah nodded. Okay, go ahead. After I came out wrapped up tightly, I jumped onto the bed and dived under the covers. I said, don't worry, I absolutely won't touch you until we're married. I'm going to sleep now. Go to sleep, Sarah said, getting up to take a shower. When she came out, she suddenly slipped into my bed. I was like a frightened little rabbit. I nervously asked her, what are you doing? She leaned close to my ear. I'll just kiss you once, I won't do anything else. She moved closer to my lips and kissed me several times. I blushed, turned over, and clutched the blanket tightly. Be rational. Sarah turned off the light and hugged my waist from behind. Don't be nervous. I won't touch you. You're hugging me too tight. I'm afraid you're cold. I'll warm you up. I said, it's summer. What the heck are you warming up? It's all the fault of the air conditioner being too cold, she said. Her hand moved down and my body suddenly tensed. Where are you touching? Stop it. I struggled, ashamed and angry. Sarah. Years turned, time flew, and after graduating from university, Sarah became a renowned doctor. I became a lawyer. On our wedding day, Sarah in her wedding dress was breathtakingly beautiful. I leaned against my dressing table, smiling unrestrainedly. Congratulations, Mrs. Liam. You finally got your wish and had your way with me. You were such a rogue that day. I don't even want to talk about it. Sarah smiled mischievously. Tonight it's your turn to be proactive, okay? Under the blessings of friends and family, we completed our wedding ceremony. Our married life was happy and fulfilling, living a simple, ordinary life on bustling streets. I would hold flowers to pick Sarah up from work. After work, she would gently lie on my lap watching dramas, and I would dotingly feed her snacks. I thought life would always be this happy. In the 3rd year after our marriage, at the age of 27, I finally couldn't escape a heart attack. What was different this time was that I wasn't afraid at all because Sarah was my surgeon. As I was wheeled into the operating room, Sarah held my hand tightly. Trust me, you'll be fine. I smiled and nodded. I trust you. As expected, the surgery was very successful. After being discharged, Sarah wouldn't let me do anything, wishing she could look after me constantly. At night, I held Sarah on my lap, gently blow-drying her hair. She snuggled in my embrace. The moonlight is so beautiful it doesn't feel real, like a dream. Sarah paused for a moment, saying nothing. She wrapped her arms around my waist, her cheeks flushed, and kissed my lips again and again. I turned off the light, not touching her, but leaned down and carefully kissed her heart. That night, I kissed it over and over. Thankfully, in this life, she was still alive, her heart still beating. After countless times I said, Sarah must always be safe. She pillowed her head on my arm, holding me tightly before falling into a deep sleep. I heard her say, silly, Sarah wants Liam to live a long, long life. 5 years into our marriage, our family welcomed a new member. Sarah was holding our newborn daughter, her eyes filled with the tenderness of new motherhood, but her playful, teasing nature hadn't changed a bit. Liam, look, she said, our daughter says if you don't change her diaper soon, when she grows up she's going to do what I did back then and corner you at the kindergarten gate. I chuckled and gently took our little princess from her arms, carefully soothing her. Sunlight streamed through the window pane, warming us. Watching Sarah and our daughter sleep, their faces peaceful, I felt a sense of contentment and tranquility I'd never known before. What once seemed like an impossible dream was now a tangible happiness right within my grasp. Our little family of 3 hearts beating in sync. The rest of our lives would be nothing but sweetness.